everybody. Welcome back to the Sheila Wiggains Show. I'm your host, Michelle, and I'm here with the esteemed Miss Sheila Wiggains, performer, actress, screenwriter. Miss Sheila, how you doing today?
Girl, I'm doing just fine. I'm loving it.
That's good. How's COVID treating you?
Oh, I'm just watching COVID.
That's good. So last time we were talking about Christmastown and how you were growing up in Jamaica and the customs that you guys were going through. So we had a good time discussing that. Now we're going to move a little forward and talk about the new year. How is New Year's in Jamaica different to New Year's over here in America?
Well, I'm going to talk about that era that I was in because things must have changed since I left. Growing up in Jamaica at New Year's time was a great time for us because we would go to church because we want to be in church when the clock strike 12. So this was a great thing. If you're at any parties or anything, everybody would be scrambling to get the New Year's blessing and would scramble to church. Some people go early, like like around 11 o'clock they would start, or 10:30 start stringing into church. But that was a custom. The church I attended was the Moravian Church, Church of the Redeemer, and that was down in the city of Kingston. But that's a great service at that time. We always look forward to get the blessings. So this was something that is really great. It doesn't matter where you were or what you were doing, you were saying, I want that blessing. So so you would be heading there. And they would have the service, rich service. Oh boy. Those folks can sing, honey. The Redeemer Church Choir. Woo! Great, great, great singers. Great singers.
What type of songs did you guys sing?
We sing Christmas songs. We sing Christmas songs. We sing songs that are, you know, for the new year. Like we don't sing like Away in a Manger and all those stuff. The songs were like old fashioned Christmas songs, British, on the more British side, like, and then they would bring in a little of the island songs with it. I don't want to sing the dialect because everybody will understand what I'm singing, so I don't go into the dialect, but because we speak a dialect down there. The mostly songs that uplifting songs for the new year coming in, over the mountain, songs that could give you strength and following for the new year. And I'm trying to remember one of the songs that he leadeth me, which was one of the songs that they would sing because you're going into a new year and you want the Lord to lead you the right way. So that was one of the songs that they would sing. Go tell it on the mountain. And we sing island style. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. And we would sing stuff like that from the Christmas going over into the new year.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had like friends. It was 6 of us, and we were teenagers, of course. And so we're making sure we are in church to get the blessing. As Moravian people, that was all we would do. We sang in the junior choir. And so that was a group of us that would meet on a Friday night for fellowship with the teenagers. And that's when we have all, but it was great fun. Christmas and New Year's, but New Year's was special because you're starting a new year and you want to make the right decisions. You want to be on point with which way you're going with your life. And anything that you're doing, you'd ask the Lord to bless you and guide you with his, follow him in his footsteps. You just say, Lord, you go before me and let me follow in your footsteps so I go the right way for this new year that is coming in. That's how New Year welcoming all day. And after New Year, what comes next? And so we settle for January. I mean, that 12 o'clock, wow, everybody be looking at the clock. Yeah. We don't have bells like you in New York and all those places.
Hmm.
We just know that was the time. We didn't have no bell ringing up there unless there was a, I don't remember if parish church had one, but we didn't have that where you can have the big bell or come down and stuff like that. But we still enjoyed it.
Hmm. Did you guys dress up or anything like that, or just regular church
We
clothes?
all had a dress. We already dressed. Remember, we're
No, no,
partying hard.
I mean, were there any special attire like?
Mm-mm. Whatever we were, if we were at a party doing anything, and I mean, we were dressed to go to church, so we were dressed already in our attire with whatever we're going to wear, because we know we were going to church.
Hmm.
This was a strict thing with teenagers who was in the Moravian church, and all of everybody is being church. Dad will be looking for you. Mom will be looking for you. Of course, when they look back and see you, better be there.
Hmm.
If it's even crawling you at the last month in the seat. They were very strict in my time growing up in the Moravian culture. And we learned a lot, we're taught a lot, and we're very disciplined. And that's how we would be. We would make sure we carry out what they say, no argument. People don't argue and say, you just do. You just fall in line and do what you have to do. So you have to say we were very obedient then at that time and age.
Okay.
Whoever is in charge of the household, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
If it was an aunt, don't think she was just going to pass. She's just as strict, like your mother.
Yeah.
So you know where we're coming
Yeah,
from.
my mom grew up in the Moravian culture too, in the Moravian church. Is there a difference between that particular Protestant sect as opposed to, let's say, the Lutheran church or something like that?
It's similar.
Hmm.
It's just that they do things a little different. They were very organized. They had the helpers board that took care of the communion table and the communion cups. There's the helper board and the communion tablecloth and all that. The helper board, these were women that were married women and up in age, and they were very organized. My aunt was a member of that group of women, and that's how things run. Everybody had their own little area to work and do. With Sunday school children, it go all right down. Of course, as a Moravian kid, you better be in Sunday school every Sunday. There's no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
You know that kind of
Yeah.
your mom. I know your mom is like that
Oh,
too.
yeah.
He don't. It doesn't matter, rain or
Yeah.
shine.
So there's something I think your fans need to know about Jamaican culture. One thing, especially if you were to go into the countryside of Jamaica, there's a church like almost every 1 or 2 miles on the street.
Oh yes.
Okay. They're very family oriented. They're very strict. They're very much into God. So, in case you want to get with somebody who's from Jamaica, I'm not talking about the Jamaicans that are up here in America, but down there in Jamaica, you better be prepared to read your Bible if you want to get with someone who's Jamaican, and you need to understand that, and you need to understand their culture. Now, the Moravian sect is a different type of Protestant church,
Yes, it's Ross.
as
Hmm.
opposed to
They
the
were from
Catholic.
Germany. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
in case
Hmm.
you guys want to read up on that, my mom was Moravian, but I actually was raised Catholic because my dad was Catholic. We don't really want to go about religion that much. That's not what it's about. We want to talk about music. But I just wanted you guys to know a little bit more about Miss Sheila and her background and where she's coming from and what has inspired her to actually compose some of the music. Now, Miss Sheila, I do want to ask you one question. Back in that time when you were a teenager, did you compose any music?
Oh, I just sang along. I do a lot of reading. As I told you before in the other podcast, I joined two libraries. One was in Halfway Tree Library, and the other one was Tom Redcam. And I love to read. And one more thing that really motivated me to read was my Aunt May. Aunt May would read to me. She would make sure she get that paper every day. And funny enough, that aunt would read all the foreign news. I had to know who was the president of each country. Let me
Mm,
tell you that. She was really instilled who is a president, who is a prime minister, and this go right down to every country. And I couldn't even say Nikita Khrushchev and all those kind, and their mayor mold their mayor for the Jewish people.
Mhm.
And you would have to know everyone, but that was very good for me because I don't think many people read the paper to their kids. I mean, she picked out what she think would be for me as a young little person growing up. So I knew a lot about those countries, and that instilled in me to keep on going to the library. We go as far as into Shakespeare and plays because I do plays. So of course I want to know about who wrote these plays, the poet, and English literature was one of my favorite topics. And most of our culture, though, the sad part about it, Michelle, is that we didn't even have a proper geography book at the time. We didn't have a proper making of the West Indies. When I was leaving school, that was the book that came out. Making of the West Indies was a big blue book that just England printed and came out. The little book that I started off in nursery school as the premier with Mr. Pig and Mr. Dat and that's kind Don was a man in the van and all those kind of stuff. That was just a little flat book that kindergarten kids learn.
Well, things haven't changed because I was actually in Jamaica a couple of years ago and I went to Savlamar, and the library that they had there was much to be desired. I mean, first of all, you have to check your bags before you go in, and there's security guards in there because I guess that's basically the only library that they have there. And I guess they're concerned that people may steal the books. That's number one. Number two, the bathrooms are much to be desired. There was even toilet paper in the bathrooms, which is quite sad. So they really need to work on their infrastructure over there in addition to their education if you really want to go down that path, because education is the key to success. You are the epitome of that, obviously, because you did finish schooling and you actually went on to college. But I just wanted to make a note of that, that it's quite sad that even after all these years, they need to do something about their,
Yeah,
to
yeah, I
upbring their
know.
children down there.
I feel there's the organization, and if you don't have people that the inner city and the community getting together to push, if you don't have people that is really want to work with your community, the community I live in is like everybody knew everybody, and the thing is they protected you. It's not like at the time you walk out there and you have a group of guys standing there, they know who you are. Nobody is going to trouble you. You can walk home and nobody touch you because those guys going to say, not in there, right here. We know, they know everybody. I would know everybody that live in that community, from the man that have the store, go right down to all the neighbors' kids. So you feel very safe. I know it has changed over the years because when I left Jamaica, it was changing. It started to change, and even going back to visit them, girls will tell me this is changed, Sheila. It's not like how it used to be.
Mhm.
So I said yes, and they'll give me the pointers. But back to what you're saying about the library and more books, because you need more of that. The more you can read, it's better for you. It doesn't matter. So I don't know if they allow them to come in and I know they don't let them take the books out anymore, right? You see how different it was when I was going to school. That's how we were made trusted. I would go to the library in Half a Tree, and I would borrow all the books I want, a certain amount of books, of course. The books I get to read as a young person growing up was the Hardy Boys. You had the Nancy Drew. You had the Bobbsey Twins. I mean, you're going down the line. These are all books what kids my age, and they should love get to read those books. But these were foreign, stories from abroad. But at least they were very interested.
Mhm.
And I learned a lot from Cherry Ames, Student Nurse, Cherry Ames, da da da. So you read the whole series of Cherry Ames, then you go back to Nancy Dew and you read the whole series of Nancy Dew. Then you read the whole series of Bobbsey Twins, and then you go on to further on. When I became that was when I was a little younger. Then when I became more, I started reading more literature. I started reading Grace Livingston. I started looking into Shakespeare and see how the plays were done and start learning some of the poems, even learning the poems, how they write them. Even my literature teacher, Mrs. Dawes, would say, you see how they write, how to write a book. No, that is what I'm saying. They don't teach, I don't know if they're teaching those kids how to even do an outline of writing a book. See, even I got that little part of it from Carol Dawes,
Mhm.
how
Uh,
to write a book.
they can take books out to borrow from the library. I think you're allowed to borrow only two. It's just when you go in, you're going to have to check your bag because a lot of people have
Oh
stolen.
boy.
Right. So we spoke about Christmas. That was the last time. We spoke about New Year's Eve. We spoke about the library,
Yes.
Moravian Church.
Church, yes.
We're moving along, and this was your teenage years. So I know a lot of your fans are probably going to want me to ask you this. So I'm just going to ask you, did you have a crush back then when you were a teenager?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Remember, I was a Mergrove High School girl, and then my friends, we had the Woolmer's Girls School and you had the boys' school,
Mm-hmm.
and we had some handsome boys that went to Woolmer's at the time, and there was the Calabar boys, and
Mm-hmm.
that's another set of boys. Now you know we play soccer, right?
Yes.
They call it football,
Uh-huh.
or well down here, but you guys call it soccer, which is a nice name. Well, as girls, we have to go to those games. We like to go to those games because we get to see all who is playing.
Hmm.
You get to see the handsome guys, and which then you had Kingston Technical. Oh yeah.
Mm.
And then you had Kingston Technical was real robust looking guys.
Mm.
You could know the different area because Kingston Tech had a lot of black guys, real sturdy and really going. And then George's boys were like more Indians and Chinese and stuff like that, but a mixed culture. As I told you, our country is melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have that. Then you have Wilmer's. Oh yeah, Wilmer's boys. Yeah, there was one boy there that I did like. He was a handsome dude.
Mm.
I mean, I remember him very well. His name was Derek. And they used to ride bikes at the time. Then you have George's boys, and there I had Lloyd. That's a Chinese boy. And then yeah, we didn't look at culture, Skinner's culture, and all that. We just look at you as an individual, and that is why we look beyond all other folks. My One of my girlfriends, she do skiing down in the harbor. And oh my God, she was a blonde with blue eyes. And she would say, "Come on, Sheila, come on down and watch me ski." In the harbor. This is on a Sunday. She'd want me to come down and watch her ski. So that's to show you. Then my other friend was an Indian girl, a whole Indian family. And we like to go to the movies. We just had a great time. You see? So when I see the culture and the melting pot, I'm looking at, yes, we are the melting pot, but that didn't bother us. It didn't
Mm.
bother whether you're Indian, Chinese, black, green, blue, pink. We were all, the girls are from my school. Whoa, the boys like to come to our sports. So what? They come to look at the
Of
girls.
course. Mhm.
So it was vice versa. They're playing soccer, and what we all say, oh, you know who is playing this evening? Who is playing against who? Oh, Georges is playing against KC, or KC is playing, or Wilmers is playing. So, and then we say, okay, where? And then a group of us from the schools would attend
Mhm.
these soccer games. So we did had our favorite guys and choices as young people, which was pretty natural.
Mhm. Okay.
And the music, and the
Of
music, remember.
course, the music.
But the music, but you know something? During that time, my girl with me, her name was Vivia. Vivia always played the piano. She was good at playing the piano, and of
Mm.
course, she plays and I sing. So you see
Mm,
where it
okay.
started.
Yeah.
And I remember, well, on a Friday night when we all meet up, Valentine's is coming. I would say, okay, why not play Cherry Pink and Apple Blossom White? Which I don't know if you guys remember that. And it would go, it's cherry pink and apple blossom white. Whenever true lover comes your way, it's cherry pink and apple blossom white, the poets say. And so,
Oh, that's nice.
and then she would go on the piano and play. So just imagine she playing that for me. And then everybody would sit around and they would love those songs. So I sang love songs. See what I mean? I was
Mm-hmm.
as a teenager doing that.
Of
So
course.
you see, way back where I started, singing was always a part of me. And even then, I would get on the piano myself and knock out a song. And I always do that. Then my mom said you should take lessons. But my mom didn't have that kind of money to send me to. I may take one or two lessons, and then she said she couldn't keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
I had to drop the piano.
Mm.
But that I took it up. I'll tell you later when you get down more in the podcast. But I did get a piano eventually when I came to America.
All right, that's great. So with that, we're going to end because there's much more juicy stuff to come. Thank
Oh
you.
yes.
Thank you, Miss Sheila, for spending some time with me so that we can have a nice little chat. And thank you,
Oh yeah.
everybody, for tuning in. And we will see you another time. Take care.
Yes. Take care,
Okay.
my dear. And all my people just tune on in. All those from Jamaica that went to school with me. Just see if you can trace it back to Mergrove High School.
All right. Take care, Miss Sheila.
Bye bye.